rati Ese uttama gati Shri Guru charane rati Ese uttama gati Guru charane rati Ese uttama gati Ye prasade pure sarvaja Ye prasade pure sarvaja Ye prasade pure sarvaja Ye prasade pure sarvaja Chudan dilo jay jamme jamme Prabhu se Chudan dilo jay jamme jamme Prabhu se Riddega ridde broccascito Ridde broccascito Riddega ridde broccascito Ridde broccascito Prema bhakti jahote avidya vinasa jate Bhakti jahote avidya vinasa jate Prema bhakti jahote avidya vinasa jate Vedega jaharacharito Vedega jaharacharito Shri Guru Karuna Sindhu Adama Janara Bandhu Guru Karuna Sindhu Adama Janara Bandhu Shri Guru Karuna Sindhu Adama Janara Bandhu Guru Karuna Sindhu Adama Janara Bandhu Shri Guru Karuna Sindhu Adama Janara Bandhu Guru Karuna Sindhu Adama Janara Lokkenata Lokkera Jivana Lokkera Jivana Shila Prabhupada Lokkera Jivana Lokkera Jivana Prabhu Karo Daya Deho More Pada Chaya 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 Ebbe Jasya Guchu Tribhuvana Shila Prabhupada Patita Pavana Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Shila Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada Shila Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Namaste Sarasvate Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirdvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatyarishatarine Namaste Gauravani Pacharine Nirdvishesha Sunyavadi Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivadadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Advaita Gadadara Shivadadi Gaura Bhakta Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivadadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivadadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivadadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivadadi Gaura Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Shila Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Shila Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada. Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Nitya Gaura Haribo, 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 Nitya Gaura Haribo, Gaura Haribo, 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 Nitya Gaura Haribo. Dayam Vishnupada Paramahansa Parivakracharya Stuttra Statra Shishimad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Dayam Vishnupada Paramahansa Parivakracharya Stuttra Statra Shishimad Bhakti Siddhanta Sarasvati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki. Iskcon Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki. Prem Sega Kokri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Syadveda Gadadara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki. Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhana Ki. Shri Vindam Dham Ki. Shri Mayapur Dham Ki. Ganga Maya Ki. Yamuna Maya Ki. Bhakti Devi Ki. Tulasi Devi Ki. Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki. Samavera Bhakta Vrinda Ki. Nittagora Premanande Hari Haribo. All the glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the lotus feet of Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari जय गोपीजनवल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय गोपीजनवल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदनन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन यशोदनन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन यशोदनन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन यमुनतीरावनचारी यमुनतीरावनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी राधा माधव कुंज विहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा जय Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva. Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Gurudev ki jai. Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Hare Krishna. Welcome to Sunday morning Srimad Bhagavatam class. We are reading from Canto 8. Chapter 6, the demigods and demons declare a truce, and text 38. So, we have been reading about how these basically there is a war of the worlds is going on between the demigods and the demons. And so Maharaj Bali, who is the leader of the demons, he basically took over all the planetary systems, and he is terrorizing the demigods. And so the demigods go to Brahma, and so in the previous chapter, Lord Brahma, along with Lord Shiva, takes the demigods to see Lord Mahavishnu, Kshirodakshaya Vishnu, in the milk ocean. So there they. In the previous chapter, they make beautiful prayers. They offer beautiful prayers to Lord Vishnu, and in this chapter, we will be reading about some of the instructions that Lord Vishnu is going to give to the demigods, and how Lord Vishnu helped the demigods. So we are going to read the text 38, and then I'll summarize the chapter, and then we'll go into discussion. Girim charopya garude haste naikena leelaya aruhya prayaya abdhim Sura Suraganair Vrataha Girim Charopya Garude Haste Naikena Leelaya Aruhya Prayaya Abdhim Sura Suraganair Vrataha Girim Charopya Garude हस्तेनैकेन लीलया आरुह्य प्रयायावभिधिम् सुरासुरगणैर्वृतः गिरिं चारोप्य गरुडे हस्तिनैकेन लीलया भयभयाभययारमयीं सुरासुरगणैर्वृतः गिरिं चारोप्य गरुडे हस्तेनैकेन लीलया भयाभयाब्धिम् सुरासुरगणैर्वृतः गिरिं चारोप्य गरुडे हस्तेनैकेन लीलया आरोप्य प्रययावधिं सुरासुरगणैर्वृतः. Now you go. Girim charupya garude hastinaikena leelaya arohya bhakrudim sura suragana evrataha. Anybody else? Girim charupya garude हस्तेनैकेन लीलया आरोप्य प्रययावब्धिं सुरासुरगणैर्वृतः. Girim, the mountain, cha also aropya, placing, garude, on the back of Garuda, hastena, by the hand, ekena, one, leelaya, very easily as his pastime, aruhya, getting on, prayayo, he went, abdhim, to the ocean of milk, sura suraganai, by the demigods and asuras, vritaha, surrounded. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. The Lord very easily lifted the mountain with one hand and placed it on the back of Garuda. Then he too got on the back of Garuda and went to the ocean of milk, surrounded by the demigods and demons. Anybody wants to help me with the purport?
Here is proof of the omnipotence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is above everyone. There are two classes of living entities, the demons and the demigods, and the Supreme Personality of Godhead is above them both. The demons believe in the chance theory of creation, whereas the demigods believe in creation by the hand of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The omnipotence of the Supreme Lord is proved here. For simply with one hand he lifted Mandara mountain. The demigods and the demons placed them on the back of Garuda and brought them to the ocean of milk. Now, the demigods, the devotees, would immediately accept this incident, knowing that the Lord can lift anything, however heavy it might be. But although the demons were also carried along with the demigods, demons, upon hearing of this incident, would say that it is mythological. But if God is all-powerful, why would it be difficult for him to lift a mountain? Since he is floating innumerable planets with many hundreds and thousands of Mandara mountains, why can't he lift one of them with his hand? This is not mythology, but the difference between the believers and the faithless is that whereas the demons simply argue and label all these historical incidents mythology, Demons would prefer to explain that everything happening in the cosmic manifestation takes place by chance, but demigods or devotees never consider anything to be chance. Rather, they know that everything is an arrangement of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is the difference between the demigods and the demons.
Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Romapada Swaminiti Namine Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pachachya Deshatarini Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvishe Namo Namo He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. So, in this chapter, the demigods after the demigods offered beautiful prayers to Kshirodakshaya Vishnu, who is laying down in the milk ocean. Then the Lord, until then they couldn't see the Lord, because first you go and offer the prayers and then the Lord appears. So the Lord appeared. And how did he appear? It is described by Shukadeva Goswami that he was so brilliant, like 1,000 suns appearing at the same time. Like when you try to see the sunrise, right? I mean, you cannot even see one sun rising. And and when the Lord appeared in front of these demigods, suddenly 1,000 suns, it's like the effulgence was that. And so what happens when you have so much effulgence, so much light? You cannot see anything. Yeah, you close your eyes. Right, that's what they did. They couldn't even see the Lord's form. Actually, in fact, Shukadeva Goswami explains that they couldn't even see themselves because they closed their eyes, probably. So they couldn't even see themselves. And then, of course, by the mercy of Lord, he gives them the vision to see him. And then they see this beautiful form of the Lord. And Shukadeva Goswami goes into a detailed description of how the Lord appears or how the Lord looks. He says that his color is Marakata Shamam. What is Marakata means? It's a type of gem. It's a blackish, bluish gem. So he's like looking like a Marakata Shamam, that beautiful color, hue of blackish body. And then his eyes are reddish like lotus. And if you see Nilamadhava also, I mean, you can see his eyes, beautiful lotus. Garments, yellow molten gold. So you can meditate. I mean, when you're reading such beautiful description, because Shukadeva Goswami is a self-realized personality, so he is actually almost, when he's describing it, he's seeing the Lord. So garments are yellow molten gold and face is like lotus. And he also goes on to describe the decorations that the Lord had. His legs have, what do you see on Nilamadhava's feet? Ankle bells, beautiful ankle bells. And that's where you start the darshan. Actually, he starts describing from the ankles. So even when we go in front of the lordships, we should, our acharyas instruct us that we should start taking darshan from the lotus feet of the Lord. So the legs have ankle bells, and the waist, what does the waist has? Beautiful belt, right? And then the arms have bangles, and the chest has necklace. And the goddess of fortune is actually residing on the chest of Lord Mahavishnu, or Kshirodakshaya Vishnu. And the neck has, what is hanging on the neck? Garlands, right? Beautiful garlands and necklaces. And also there is a Kaustuba gem that is hanging on the, that's on the Lord's chest, hanging on the Lord's chest. And then ears, beautiful earrings. And then the crown or the helmet. And the helmet is, of course, here we have turban with a lot of beautiful flowers, but the Lord is actually wearing a crown or a helmet, and it's studded with many jewels, precious jewels. And so it is described that all these ornaments, all these decorations actually are not to beautify the Supreme Lord. What are they for? It is, our acharyas describe that, actually Shukadeva Goswami describes that it's param padam bhushanam bhushanangam. Right? It's actually, these ornaments are getting beautified because of the beauty of the Lord, not the other way around. Because often we don't wear much, but the ladies, when they wear jewelry, why do they wear the jewelry? To beautify themselves. But in the case of the Supreme Lord, Lord Vishnu or Lord Krishna, actually the jewels are getting beautified. Because in the case of when Lord Vishnu, his effulgence is so bright. I mean, none of these, like when we wear 22 karat or 24 karat gold jewelry, because they kind of shine, and and also nowadays these diamonds and all these precious gems, and so they kind of add some more glitter to our dull faces, right? Sorry, I'm talking about myself, not so, but in the case of Lord, it's actually, because of the Lord is self-effulgent, it actually beautifies all these other jewelry that he is wearing, and they actually get better, better value or better beautification. And also, then once the Lord appears, then Lord Brahma starts offering some beautiful prayers. So he describes the Lord as, you are Ajata, you don't have any enemies, Ajata Shatru, he doesn't have any enemies, you are never conquered, Ajita, I mean, he uses beautiful words. And then also he says that you appear and disappear in many incarnations at your own will, and you are not affected by the material modes, so forth. And you are an ocean of bliss. And you are the reason, Sarva Karana Karanam. You are the reason for the entire manifestation of the cosmos. Right? And he describes, Shukadeva Goswami describes how Lord Brahma is praying. So Lord Brahma is praying that just people, by taking darshan of your lotus feet or your lotus face, whatever the difficulties that they are undergoing, all of them they will be able to get rid of them. So that's the mood when we go in front of the Lord, when we are taking darshan. If we have the mood, a proper mood, actually whatever the things that we are going through at that point, at that time, the Lord will take them away, any difficulties. Right? And the analogy that Lord Brahma offers is that when elephants, they are in the forest, and then suddenly the forest fire they get affected by this forest fire, but when they see some rain cloud or water from lake, they become so happy. They forget about whatever the forest fire that caused all the difficulty that it caused. And so Lord Brahma finally says to Lord Vishnu, Kshirodakshaya Vishnu, that we don't have to tell you what is our problem, because you know everything. You are Sarva Karana Karanam. So just keeping our welfare in mind, just instruct us what is suitable to us. So this is the same mood that we should use when we go in front of a senior devotee or spiritual master, because oftentimes I hear that when we go in front of the spiritual master, we start telling our own problems as well as solutions, right? We already have solutions in mind, and we already picked a solution too, right? And so we just are kind of testing if Guru Maharaj is going to really pick the same solution as mine, right? And so we tend to do that, but that's not the way our acharyas, especially Brahmadev is our initiating Sampradaya Guru. So he's asking Lord Vishnu that you know what is better for us, so kindly guide us, kindly instruct us. And so Lord Vishnu, of course, being actually Prabhupada uses the word omnipotent in this, his omnipotence aspect of it. So Lord Vishnu actually creates a master plan. What is his master plan? To solve this demons demigods problem? Churn the milk ocean. He says that why? What do you get from the churning the milk ocean? Nectar. What happens with the nectar? Immortality. So that is the instruction that he gives. So, but the thing is, he says that it's a big, huge task to churn the milk ocean. It's not an easy task. So they need help. Demigods won't be able to, especially right now, the demigods are scattered all over the place. They are terrorized, they are weak, because Bali Maharaj kicked them out of their all their opulence and all their things. So they are like dragging their faces and dragging their feet. So Lord Vishnu tells them that you have to get help. And who can help you? The demons. You have to get the help of the demons in order to churn this huge task done. And so first the Lord says, listen to me attentively. That's an instruction. So we also have to, when we go in front of a spiritual master or something, not have our own opinions and kind of, then just listen to what they have to say. He says that as long as you are not flourishing, you should make a truce with the demons that are being favored by time. Right now he says that the demons have their time going, so you cannot do much, you cannot run around or try to expedite anything. So just have patience. Shri Radha Nilamadava ki jai, Shri Radha Giridhari ki jai, Shri Giriraj Govardhan ki jai, Shri Nitai Gaurachan Nitai Chaitanya Chandra ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Gurudev ki jai, Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bo. So he says that, so you offer some vegetables, fruits, grass, things like that into the ocean, this milk ocean, and then you have to get this huge Mandara mountain. Mandara mountain is described as, what kind of mountain is it? Gold mountain. And it is said, it's described that it's like, what is that? It's too high. I mean, like 84 yojanas, which is like, I don't know, I cannot even tell how many miles, but it's a lot of miles high. And it's a gold, made of pure gold. And so he says that in order to churn, you have to use the Mandara mountain as the churning rod. And who is the churning rope? Vasuki, the king of the serpents. And so he says that you have to get the Mandara mountain, I mean, it's described that it is somewhere in the northern part, certain area, and so you in the heavenly planets. So you have to bring that to the milk ocean, and then request Vasuki and kind of churn the milk ocean. And he also says that when you are churning the milk ocean, there are going to be several things that are going to come out, including the first thing that's going to come out is poison. So you have to deal with it, because when we have to get something, obviously we have to be prepared for whatever the negative aspects of it also. So he says that, so try to go and get those. So he instructs the demigods, go to Bali Maharaj, talk to him sweetly, and try to make some diplomatic truce, and then take his help and do that. So then, obviously the demons are enemies of the demigods, but because under the proper instruction and proper guidance of the personality of Godhead, they decided to go and make this truce or diplomatic mission. And same thing, even as devotees, when we go on the preaching mission or different services, sometimes we encounter some not so favorable personalities. So we have to take proper guidance. Under the proper guidance, we can also make the truce with such personalities in order for our service to be done, in order for our thing to be done. And so then he also instructs them that give up fear when you see the poison, and also don't be greedy, especially when some of the gifts that come from the churning, because since your demons are helping, you have to understand what is your final purpose. You have to get the nectar. And the thing is, you only have to get the nectar, not the demons. So in the process, you may have to give up something else so that it can kind of, they don't get, so don't be too greedy. And so then, but of course the demons and demigods both have the cheating plan already prepared. Because of course the demigods go and explain to Bali Maharaj, this is what Lord Vishnu told us, this is the plan. Bali Maharaj says, hey, that's a great idea. We also need some of that nectar. So yeah, we are game for this thing. We'll join you. And so of course everybody makes their own plans on how at the end they will want to cheat to get the nectar. And then they all go to the Mandira mountain and try to lift it, and they lifted it, but as they are carrying it, it's too heavy. So many people get, many of the demigods and demons get crushed under the Mandira mountain. And so then they've started crying, oh, it's too bad, we cannot do this. And so then again Lord Vishnu comes for their rescue. And he says that, okay, I'll help you guys. He just lifts the mountain with one hand. So that's what this verse is. He is explaining that he just, the Lord very easily lifted the mountain with one hand and placed it on the back of Garuda. And then he too got on the back of the Garuda and went to the ocean of milk, surrounded by the demigods and demons. I mean, of course, Shukadeva Goswami explains that that basically even these demigods and demons who were kind of crushed by the Mandira mountain, the Lord actually brings them back to life, and then he takes all of them to the milk ocean. So, and of course, at the end of this chapter, he also instructs Garuda, after he drop off the mountain, you have to leave, because who's coming to help with the churning? Vasuki, right? What is the problem? Why Garuda cannot stay? So normally Garuda eats the snakes. So as long as Garuda is there, Vasuki is not going to come. So he says that you better pack up and leave because this guy is not going to come. So Lord is called as Yogeshwara. So he is the one who makes all the arrangements, beautiful arrangements. And he even helps these people, what to do and how to do. Of course, in the next chapters, we are going to read about how after the nectar came, how Lord Vishnu has to come as Mohini Rupa, and even there also that he has to kind of help the demigods. So in the verse, actually, the first statement that Srila Prabhupada makes is, here is the proof of omnipotence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is above everyone. So obviously, not everybody recognizes the omnipotence of the Lord, right? People always, that's what Prabhupada goes on to explain in the rest of the purport about how demoniac natured people don't accept the Lord has all this power. What does omnipotence means? All powerful, right? And also another meaning is all merciful. So people like, oh, if the Lord is all powerful and all merciful, then how can there be so much suffering? Right? That's what some atheistic or voidism people kind of comment. So there is actually a story where barber story, right? Once there is a barber. So he is also similar to, so one person comes for shaving, and so as the barber is shaving, they were discussing different topics. And so the barber was kind of, they came to this topic of Lord's omnipotence. Oh, if the Lord is so merciful and so powerful, why can't he take care of the people who are suffering? If he is powerful, then he should be able to, meaning he has all opulences, so he should be able to take care of, provide whatever people who are suffering needs. But then he must not be merciful. That's why he's not giving them what they need. But if he is all merciful, then he may not be all powerful, because he may not have all the things to provide them, even though he is merciful. So he goes on kind of making this argument. So this person stays calm, and after his shaves, his activity, whatever he was getting done, after he finishes, he pays the money, and he goes out. And he just comes back in a few minutes, and he says that there must not be any barbers in this world. The barber is like, what do you mean? I just shaved you. You were sitting here all this time. I'm a barber. No, I just went out and I saw all these people with beards and overgrown hair and all that stuff. What does that mean? There must not be any barbers around here. No, I am here. My shop is right here. I'm open 8 to 5 or whatever. So what can I do if people don't come to my shop? See? What happened? If people don't go to the Lord, how can they get mercy? How can they get out of their sufferings? The Lord is all merciful and all powerful, but people have to approach. How many people are approaching the Lord? Right? So he says that, so it's like, so often what we fall into the trap is, we think that we are the doers. And that's why our people, especially the demoniac natured people, think that they are the doers. That's because of them the world is running, because of them the company is running, because of them the place is running. And so, what is that verse? Prakrute kriyamanani gunakarmani sarvashaha ahankara vimudhatma kartaham iti manyate. So Krishna says that ahankara vimudhatma, those people with pride, ahankara, right? And vimudhatma means ignorance, bewildered. Those are the people, kartaham iti manyate. They think that I am the doer. But who is the doer? Prakrute kriyamanani. It's actually the material nature is the one that is actually getting, doing. They are only the instruments, right? So the actual activities are being carried out by the nature. So we get into this trap of, oh, people, I'm the doer, so that's why they don't believe in the Lord being merciful or all powerful. So they basically discount the Lord's ability, right? And of course, the Lord describes in the Bhagavad Gita, there are 4 types of these kind of demoniac personalities. Who are those personalities? Namam dushkritino mudha and naradhamas. Prapadyante naradhamaha. And next, mayaya apahrita jnana. Those people who are speculative or ignorance, or means their knowledge is taken by maya, illusion. They are in the illusory jnana aspect. And then asuram bhavamashitaha. So those people who are atheistic class, right? Those are the four types of people that don't want to surrender to Krishna. And so if you don't recognize what the Lord can do or what the Lord's potency is, then obviously you won't be able to get the mercy of the Lord. You won't be able to approach the Lord, just like in the barber story, right? I mean, if you cannot go to the barber shop, you won't get it. And same thing. So, so the same, Prabhupada mentions in this thing that these, people think that the Lord is actually doesn't exist. It's all a mythological story. If it is especially like when we talk about this Mandara mountain, gold mountain, where is the gold mountain? I mean, you must be kidding. Where is the milk ocean? There is no milk ocean that we see, right? So people kind of say that, oh, this is all stories. And so, and then they propagate this, whatever that is beneficial for them among general population. And more and more people, oh yeah, that's a story, that's mythology. It's not real. And so then more and more people become ignorant, more and more people become atheistic. And because they are doing it for their own profit, for their own benefit. Whereas, I mean, they bring this, oh, there is an Armageddon coming, there is a, what is the end of the world is coming. And then they sell their goods, and then they sell their philosophy, and then they make a bunch of profits. So we have to have the faith in the Supreme Lord. Actually, there is another story I think everybody knows, but the cobbler and the Brahmana story, right? What happened? Everybody knows cobbler and Brahmana story? Yeah. Okay. So, but anyway, the cobbler, even though he is, okay. So once a cobbler and Brahmana were in a village, I guess. So Narada Muni goes to check on them, how they are doing. And so then he first goes to the Brahmana, and so the Brahmana says, oh, I have been doing my Brahminical duties all my life. I haven't seen the Lord. I don't know what's his plan for me is, what's going on, and things like that. And then he goes on to the cobbler, and the cobbler also, cobbler is, oh, the Lord is very merciful, Lord is all merciful, he's powerful and all. So then he goes to Lord Vishnu, and then he says that what's going on with this Brahmana, what's going to happen. So he says, the Lord actually tells Narada to go and tell them that the law, when they ask what is the Lord doing, the Lord is putting an elephant through the, threading an elephant through the needle of, through the eye of the needle. And so, first Narada Muni goes to the Brahmana and says that, oh, I just met the Lord. He's doing very nice. So Brahmana says, yeah, really? I mean, so what did he say? Oh, the Lord said that you're not going to come back after this lifetime. And so Brahmana says, no, you don't know. You never went to the Lord. How can you say, I mean, I'm the perfect guy and all that stuff. So then what is the Lord doing when you went and saw the Lord? So Narada Muni says, oh, he's threading an elephant to the eye of the needle. And so Brahmana says, you don't know what you're talking about. I mean, how can an elephant be threaded to the needle, eye of the needle? So you never even went to the Lord Vishnu. You are just kind of making it up. I'm definitely going to go back after this thing. And so then, okay, whatever. And so Narada Muni goes to the cobbler. Even though the cobbler is not very educated, I mean, he's doing his, whatever his profession is. And so when he goes there and he tells the cobbler, oh, the Lord is very merciful and he said that you are going to come back. Oh, really? Oh, yeah. What is the Lord doing when you went and saw him? Oh, same thing, threading an elephant through the eye of the needle. And oh, yeah, of course. I mean, the Lord is, he's capable of doing anything like that. So he had full faith. So the moral of the story is that we have to get out of this mode of we are the doers. And Shishirada Nilamadava ki jai, Shishirada Giridhari ki jai, Shishigiri Raj Govardhan ki jai, Shishinitai Gaurachandra Nitai Chaitanya Chandra ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Gurudev. So, and we have to get out of this atheistic mode that oh, things are happening because of my efforts or my things, and also, and even devotees also sometimes we tend to fall into this trap, right? When we are doing some service or something very nicely, then we get this little pride kind of overtakes us. And we say, oh, I'm so good at doing this thing, right? But you are not the doer, actually, because of the Lord's mercy, because of the Lord's energy. I mean, when I cook, every time it doesn't come the same way, only because of whatever. Actually, my children always say, whatever, when I make the dal or something at the temple, it's completely different taste than what I make at home. I'm using the same spices and same thing, but I mean, their theory is that because it's offered to the Lord, tasted by the Lord, that's why the installed deities, so it's actually different. It's better tasting. So, which is true. I mean, because we have to be very careful that this pride thing doesn't take over. Because the pride thing takes over because when we think that we are the doers. So we have to always be constantly in check on that aspect of it. And oftentimes also Lord also helps us not to get puffed up. Right? So he gently kind of gives us hints that you are not the doer, right? But we have to recognize, we have to be able to recognize, otherwise we will start blaming it on somebody else. Oh, because of that person, my rasgullas didn't come up properly. Otherwise, I am the best rasgulla maker, right? So, or because of the sugar is not good, sweet is not good, something we come up with. Right? So we have to be really careful. So what should we feel? We should actually practice that we are the servant of the Lord. It's actually because of the Lord's mercy, because of Lord's material energy, is actually we are able to do whatever the services, whatever the things that we are able to do, either materially or spiritually. And that is the mood that we should develop. And then we will actually make the progress and become better devotees rather than get into demoniac nature. I'll stop here. If anybody has any comments, any suggestions, any wisdom that they want to share. All right, looks like everybody agrees. Yes, Prabhu.
Wonderful class, Prabhu. It reminds me that other day my daughter was telling that the teacher was explaining how the world come into existence. And the teacher was telling this world got formed by Big Bang theory, by Big Bang. And then my daughter was thinking that how it is. And then other boy asked one question, that who caused that Big Bang?
That's nice.
Who caused that Big Bang? So my daughter was saying that boy, asked the right question. Who caused? And the teacher was not able to answer. He said, that's what written. It happened, but who caused that is not written. That. So as Prabhupada mentioned that demons believe that by chance it happened.
By chance, yeah.
It just by chance it happened. So I was telling my daughter that if you find a full-fledged digital radio watch in a desert,
And Prabhupada gives that example. Right?
And then you say that, hey, this watch just came its own, right? And somebody has manufactured, assembled, and then put it, right? If somebody say, no, it's just by chance came, that thought itself is unscientific. So as Prabhupada last line says that the demons think that by chance it happened, but demon got think that no, there's a proper arrangement.
Yeah. Very nice. All right. Thank you so much. Grandaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Gurudev ki jai. Gaura Premanande. Hari Hari Bol.